Hello, everyone. Well, we women go through our roller coaster rides of hormone imbalance. Today, what we want to talk about is how can yoga therapy help us with balancing and managing our hormones, right? So we have Mika with us. She is a yoga therapist, hormone balance expert, and she works out of Thailand and Spain, two beautiful places in the world. Namaste, and thank you so much for joining me.
Namaste. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. So let's just understand, first of all, what is hormone imbalance, why it happens real quickly, and then
Yeah,
the work that you're doing in yoga and yoga therapy, how can it help all the women out there?
yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, hormonal imbalance can happen to many, many women. It can happen in an early age, can happen due to perimenopause or menopause. Um, for perimenopause and menopause, it's mostly a lack of estrogen at a certain age. And the level of estrogen already starts to decrease by the age of 35, if you want to hear this or not, but these are unfortunately the facts. And yeah, the symptoms for many women can be quite tremendous, from anxiety due to depression, to weight gaining, to the very common thing of hot flushes, night sweats, weight gain, or just not feeling well in our own skin anymore. In a younger age, that might be causing infertility or irregular cycles. Many things happen just due that we're just too stressed out in our day-to-day life. But it can be had all very different causes. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just talk through yoga, how yoga therapy can help, and is it
Yeah,
the postures or the mixing of breathing? I mean, yoga is a huge library of tools that you can use. So,
it is.
yeah.
It is. So I'm a yoga teacher and I'm a hormone yoga therapist. And I started practicing yoga many years ago. And I started with the more vigorous forms of yoga, from power yoga to vinyasa flow to even ashtanga. And that's great, but yoga is actually designed for a male body. And if we as a woman keep ourselves pushing us through those sequences every day the same, then by the end, we're going to mess up our hormones. So, and I came across the founder of hormone yoga therapy. Her name is Dina Rodriguez, an amazing woman. She just turned 95 this year, or just the past week. And she designed the practice of hormone yoga therapy to help women to balance their hormones in a natural way. And hormone yoga therapy is we're practicing hatha yoga asanas, so the postures, in combination with kundalini. So we're going to have certain breathing techniques, and then we're going to use the circulation of energy, which is a Tibetan technique, to bring the emphasis on our endocrine system, that everything works back in balance again. And with this, if you do this on a regular basis, you're able to balance your hormones in a natural way to increase the estrogen, if this is the cause of the lack, or to also to help the progesterone to raise up.
Okay, so you talked a lot about mixing different type of yoga
Yeah,
techniques. So talk to
yeah.
us in simple plain English that we can all understand.
Yeah. Okay, so if you go to a regular yoga class, and the teachers, they point out like hatha yoga class, these are mainly like postures you hold for a certain time and then you go into the next. It's a bit more static than a flowy class. So I would bring you into a yoga posture, but in a dynamic way. Hormone yoga is not just to relax, it is quite active and dynamic. So the breathing technique we use is very fast and quite forceful, because we want to really use our energy to wake up the endocrine system. And so you're holding the posture, you're breathing in a certain way, and then I will guide you that you're going to bring light, for example, to your ovaries or to your thyroid or to your pituitary gland. And just by the imagination of thinking of this and bringing the light into this, you're able then to increase the level of hormones.
Got it. So let's just talk through type of postures. Like we all understand quite a few vocabulary of all the most of the yoga postures, I should say. So what kind of posture you would start with, and what kind of breathing, and then is it mantra, is it chanting? So talk to us a little bit on the sequence of how it will work.
Okay. Yeah, it's a set sequence. So the warm-up sequence starts in standing. You do some arm stretches which go out to the side, so it's similar to Urdhva Hastasana, but then we bend to the right and to the left. We have a forward fold, standing forward fold with crossed legs in the standing part. Then we already go down to the ground. It looks a bit similar like a half happy baby. And then the postures have different names. They are very, very different. The whole warm-up sequence then we do, it's another next one is called flying hare, because it also works on the hair growth if you suffer from the loss of hair, for example. We practice a seated cat-cow posture for the mobility of the spine. And then we go into the daily series, which has, it starts with a dynamic Janu Sasasana, a half forward fold, in a dynamic way. Then we follow up with a seated twist. The next one is a spinal movement, which is a very unique practice of hormone yoga therapy. Not a typical yoga asana, I would say. We call the next one the prayer. It looks very similar to a half pigeon pose. It is a little different, but if you would just watch me doing it, you would say like, oh, Mika is practicing half pigeon pose, but it's a little different. What else? And then we come into kind of a supported bridge pose. And all of these asanas so far, they have more the emphasis on the ovaries. And we're going to breathe in Bhastrika pranayama. So very forceful, very active. And most of the postures, we are breathing 7 times. So 7 Bhastrikas, and then the circulation of energy comes into place. Then we change the breath to a very loud Ujjayi breathing. Yeah, I think everyone who's done a yoga class has heard someone breathing very loud next to them. And this breath, it comes 3 times, and it's called a slimming exercise. It works more on our thyroid gland. And also the thyroid might get a little bit lazy, and it works on our metabolism. So it's really important also to work on the health of our thyroid. And we come to a seated part where we're going to work on our bandhas, on Jalandhara bandha, on Uddiyana bandha, and also on Mula bandha. We go back down to the ground. Just a rough overview, yeah, to get a glimpse of this. The next posture is then called Surya Bedana. This is a good one to start our metabolism, as we only breathe then through the right nostril with Bhastrika pranayama, and bringing back the emphasis to our ovaries. We have practices for Setu Bandhasana, the bridge pose for the thyroid. And then the last and most challenging part is a very long dynamic Viparita Karani. So for everyone who doesn't know what is Viparita Karani, it's similar like a shoulder stand, done a little bit different in hormone yoga therapy, but you have your legs up for around 5 minutes, performing different postures and still breathing then our Bhastrika pranayama. The whole sequence is going to be finished with a yoga nidra, where we're going to circulate the energy in the body again. And in hormone yoga therapy, we also have anti-stress techniques and calming pranayama, such as Nadi Shodhana or Chandra Bedana or any other calming pranayama to soothe down the nervous system after all of this activation.
Okay,
that's a lot of information, I know.
This is great. This is great. And so a couple of things before, and this is a quick 10-minute session that we bring on a daily basis. I think it's the work that you're doing. How long is this whole sequence for? That's number one. And how many times women should do it? That's number two. And even if you're
question.
even if your hormones are not going out of whack, should we still start doing it when we are at age 35 onwards, or maybe before that, right? That's what you said.
Okay, so I'm practicing hormone yoga therapy already for a while, so I just only need 30 minutes for the whole sequence. If you start practicing, you get a handout, and you might have a video to watch in the beginning, or a teacher who's guiding you, and then the session might take an hour when you start. But as you know, the sequence, it's never changing. Maybe plan for 30 minutes, that's all. And well, as we're humans, the more we suffer, the more we should practice, right? So if you're suffering from low hormones and the effects of menopause, perimenopause, or irregular cycle, we would suggest to practice 3 to 4 times per week. If you're just starting and you think like, well, actually, I don't have all of these symptoms, but I might be likely to run into this phase right now because I start to feel changes in my cycle. Maybe it gets more irregular, or maybe even your gynecologist told you that you're close to menopause. Then you definitely can start, and you should start, to keep the level up as high. So with this practice, we are able to bring our hormonal state back to 15 years ago. And that's very impressive. There are studies out there and that women were able to increase their estrogen level to up to 250%. I certainly practice hormone yoga therapy. I'm 40 years old now. I'm not in menopause. I'm not in perimenopause, but I do have PCOS, and I have irregular cycle. And I was able to balance my cycle a lot with this. I reduced the effects of PMS dramatically. Very happy for all my surroundings and my friends and for myself. And I have the history of breast cancer in my family. So I would do everything I can to make sure that I can balance my hormones in a natural way, because I don't want to run into the HRT and any other medicine approach. So that's my personal choice, but everyone is different, of course.
No, I think thank you so much for sharing your personal story.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. There are so many research studies that I was looking at before our session today that validate the efficacy of yoga therapy for hormone balancing, and not only for hormone balancing, so many other health concerns. And I mean, yoga is wonderful, amazing. And I, although I am from India, but I discovered yoga, not that I didn't know about yoga, a few years back, you know, and fallen in love with it. But to all the women out there, yoga is something that is a magic potion, you know, that beautiful spice that you need to bring to your life. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up today?
Yeah, I mean, you said it all. It's beautiful by itself, and hormone yoga therapy is just a very specific point and a specific niche for a certain type of people. If everyone who watched this thinks like, oh, this is something nice to try out, see that you can find a certified therapist who's guiding you into it to have the best benefits. I can maybe link down the link to an online program I'm running. I'm also giving a retreat for women in Thailand this year in November. If anyone is up for a holiday, it's going to be in the north in Chiang Mai. It's called Feminine Balance. It's all about the hormones. And then you have like first-hand guidance how to balance your hormones in a natural way in a holiday environment.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that
You're
information. And feel free to put all the links. I might join you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thailand is beautiful, and especially the north is amazing in November. It's such a treasure island.
Great, good to know. Well, to all the viewers, keep supporting us. We are ready with our platform. Finally, we are bringing a lot of workshops, and we'll be working with Mika as well to bring you all kind of amazing self-care workshops to help with your holistic wellness, mind, body wellness. So keep supporting us. Namaste, and thank you so much for your support.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.